Good day, everybody. I'm going to jump straight in by asking you what it is you see on this slide. You would think it's a white dot, and it is correct. There is a white dot on this slide, but then there is the rest of the picture, and that's everything that's not the white dot. So when I think of biostimulants, I think our current knowledge, or the way we look at the value of these products, is similar to this kind of a picture, where what we know or what we think we know is actually not the complete picture. My name is Ida Wilson and I'm a field biologist, and today I'll be talking to you about biostimulants in focus. Just by way of introduction, I'm an agricultural scientist and I've been doing industry research in our agricultural industry in South Africa for the past 20 years. During this time, I have worked on various crops, which include the field crops and tree crops, and also I've worked in various environments in the field, in the orchard, in the packhouse, in the cold chain. I've studied the storage of fruit, for instance, and decay of fruit in the cold chain, and just in general, I've got quite a wide base of knowledge in terms of crop production in South Africa and around the world. When I was a young researcher, freshly out of university, I realized that the value of the research can only go as far as it is communicated. So it became a passion for me to actually communicate research output, more like in an extension environment, to farmers directly. And this is just to give you an idea of the contributions to the agriculture industry that I've made in the past 20 years. So the talk, the content of the talk will be divided into 3 parts. Look at biostimulants and how we can better understand them, just some case studies and success stories from my own perspective, and then future perspectives and the industry outlook. So let's jump right in and have a look at plant biostimulants. Biostimulants are products applied to plants that enhances crop yield and quality. It also has effects on the plant biology, such as improving root growth or improving the photosynthetic rate. In general, biostimulants should be universal. So because they act on the biology of the plant, it should be able to make a difference to any plant when it is applied. Biostimulants are not fertilizers, they're not micronutrient products, and they're not fungicides or insecticides. They are distinctly different from these groups of products, and they can be applied as a foliar spray, as a drench to the soil, and sometimes as a seed dressing. Biostimulant products are diverse, and active ingredients include flavonoids, humic and fulvic acids, beneficial microbes, chitosan, seaweed extract, and plant extracts. It is a pretty recent addition to the plant production environment, and it is important to understand why plant biostimulants have become important in our production systems. Let's first look at plant production in the 1900s. In this era, the focus was on the production of the plant, specifically looking at things like fertilizers, irrigation, and so on to optimize plant productivity. And then the crop protection products would be applied to protect this crop. In recent years, however, the crop production environment has changed quite drastically, and this is mostly attributed to climate change, and abiotic stress and biotic stress has escalated in the plant production environment. The crop protection strategies of the past is not always successful to protect the crop under these conditions. Examples of biotic stress is insects and diseases, and examples of abiotic stress is salinity of soil or water, high temperatures, but it could also be low temperatures, and then drought. Our modern plant production systems is also experiencing more pressure in terms of crop protection from consumers who do not want pesticides on the products they consume. There's pesticide regulation, which is taking away some of the pesticides off the market. There's resistance to pesticides, where organisms are not effectively controlled by products that used to work in the past. And then there's high temperature impact on product efficacy, but also on the plant's inherent resistance. In, I would say, the last 50 years or so, our production systems have been very product-centric. And this product-centric approach was efficient, but it is no longer. So this is where biostimulants come to the rescue. Let's have a look at the primary effect of biostimulants. It directly affects the biology of the plant. It can alter the photosynthetic rate, support water holding capacity, give the plant tolerance towards biotic and abiotic stress, enhance root growth, and then also impact root exudation. Secondary effects of biostimulants include stronger growth of the plant and higher vitality. Then you get an increase of the size of the fruit and the vegetables. You could have higher yields, better overall quality of produce, and then longevity of fresh produce. So it is the primary effects of the biology which has an indirect impact on the production capacity of plants. Then the tertiary effects of biostimulants, and this is actually only apparent after you've applied the biostimulant to a production system over the long term, is on soil. The healthy microbiome could establish. There's enhanced plant interaction with beneficial microbes. The nutrient uptake is more efficient, especially because of a symbiosis with microbes. The soil aggregates increases over time. Soil compaction may reduce, and then you have a healthy soil establishing over time. Then in terms of nutrition, your nutritional uptake is more successful. Your crop protection was better because the pesticide only have to support the inherent abiotic stress tolerance or biotic stress tolerance of the crop. The water use efficiency is regulated optimally, so especially water in agriculture, especially in future as well, is going to be a very scarce resource, and this is a very promising property of some biostimulants. Then the resilience of the system is enhanced, so there will be stronger resistance to abiotic stresses such as wind, temperatures, fluctuations in salinity, and this ensures the longevity of plants in your tree crops, but also in field crops, just the resilience of plants over years. And then this slots in with Sustainable Development Goals since it supports the longevity of production systems. And that's actually one of the primary goals of our new systems, where we focus on sustainability. So if you look at these blocks, which each of them shows a property of some biostimulants. So some biostimulants will only improve photosynthesis. Others would improve biotic and abiotic stress tolerance. And in some of them, there will be more than one of these benefits. But what happens in your production system is that these benefits is collated, it comes together in the plant, and then it improves the resilience of the production system. When the resilience is enhanced, the risk is reduced. And this is actually what the farming operation is about, is how can we reduce risk. So if you look at the where we had the product-centric approach before, I now call this the plant-centric approach, where you have proactive protection and strengthening of the plant health. And then there's a much better response to the impact of climate, abiotic stress, and biotic stresses. So here we focus on the plant first, the needs of the plant, and how we can grow healthy, strong individuals, which will then partly have their own tolerance and resistance. So for insects and diseases, for instance, biostimulants are not fungicides, so they might not protect the plant 100% against a fungus or a pest, but they do support the plant in tolerance, which means that when you do apply the crop protection product, that you're likely to get a better overall response. So biostimulants offers a comprehensive solution to support plant production because the biology of the plant is altered. This is a plant-centric approach where there's a whole plant response. So many biostimulants have an impact on root growth and the uptake of nutrients, for instance. There might be changes in the leaves in terms of photosynthetic capacity or photosynthetic rate. And all of this then translates into the higher quality and yield of the crop. So if you look at the benefits of biostimulants, on the one side you have the production system where you get a higher yield, potentially better quality, perhaps longer shelf life, and then over years you'll have a better soil health and resilience of the crop production system. And here on the left-hand side is the consumer benefits, where the products might be more nutrient-rich, have a better flavor, or be more appealing because of the appearance or the fragrance of the fruit. So let's have a look at some case studies and some success stories. This is some work that our company, the company that I support currently, Biorevolution, did on Ori, which is Mandarin. And there was a single application of a biostimulant in August and a single application of the biostimulant in September. And then this is just, it was done in separate orchards. And then just to see what the effect of the biostimulant was on the fruit set. So the average number of fruit for 30 replicated trees was calculated. And then we see in the untreated plots, there was a lower number of fruit that set per half a meter squared. So the treated fruit per average was significantly higher. And then we see here that the percentages is between 14 to 16%. So you could say about a 15% increase in fruit set. Then this is just a photograph of the August application where this is the untreated trees. Just a collage that I made of randomly selected parts of the trees because yeah, it's sometimes difficult to put up a tree from the control and a tree from the treated, and you know, we could be biased and select the trees we think look the best, but this is randomly snapshots that I just took from the photographs we had, and then this shows you the treated Ori and a rather big difference in fruit set between those groups of trees. Then in this example, for 3 different trials, one on Palmer navel oranges, one on McLean navel orange, and one on Midnight Valencia orange, the effect of the biostimulant on the nutrient content of the oranges was evaluated. So the results that I'm going to show you now is a average of the oranges over locations. for the 3 different trials. And on average, we see that the mineral nutrients in the oranges changed when the biostimulant was applied. Interestingly, there was quite a bit more calcium that was taken up, and calcium is important in supporting plants, especially the rind in citrus, against just physiological decline, ripe pitting, and then also against micro wounds where pathogens could enter. Interestingly, the sodium was lower, which is a good finding because of sodium possibly contributing, to problems in people with heart disease. And yeah, then every one of these mineral nutrients play a role in the plant and in the fruit and could support, for instance, longevity and shelf life in fruit. So something else that's really... So then there is some interesting findings that I'd like to share with you, and this is from Thomas 2007, where he looked at the mineral depletion of foods available to us as a nation. He says here, this is specifically looking at the UK, I think, but I speak under correction. So you can see here between 1940 and 1991, the decline in nutrients, and this is specifically for oranges. Thomas had a look at various different crops, but this is if you look at the value for oranges, and interestingly, the sodium is higher, which makes sense if you look at the water scarcity, and that could contribute to saline swells and water, and then just a reduction in all these other mineral nutrients which are important in human health. So I'm just going to show you the next slide is to show you the impact that the biostimulant made. And here you can see very clearly how those mineral nutrients were higher when the biostimulant that we tested at Biorevolution was applied to the citrus. Then I am collaborating with the Department of Agronomy at Stellenbosch University on several projects by the students. And this is just one of the highlights of the project that we're running, one of our MSc projects, where the biostimulant is the same that was applied to the citrus, was applied to tomatoes under mild heat stress. And the product was drenched, and there was 4 applications. And what we saw is that the Brix values for all the treated tomatoes were statistically significantly higher than that of the control. And then the firmness values at harvest and 7 days after harvest was also significantly better than that of the control. So this holds implications for the management of food waste, for instance. And then we're just going to have a quick look at future perspectives and industry. So biostimulants are being adopted widely over crops and geographical regions. So there's significant market growth. And this market growth is driven partly by the consumer awareness, but then also governmental policies that advocate for sustainable agricultural production. So the market is estimated to will become worth 8.7 billion US dollars in 2030. And there's I just included the link for where this figure comes from. So then research and development, this is a topic that's close to my heart because it's basically what I've been doing the last 3 years is development of biostimulants on different crops and in different environments. So it's very important that empirical evidence from scientific studies should lead the way in the adoption of biostimulants. And I think some of the other speakers might point out that this is one of the problems, because there are, I want to say literally thousands, but there are so many products in the market, and it might be difficult to make decisions with regards to which one of these products would be the right one to use. So it's important to look for the scientific research, the supporting information, and how much data is available on the specific product. And then in future, research will focus on the refining the formulations and targeting specific crops for specific traits in the crop. So at this point in time, maybe also one of the reasons why biostimulants is not so easy to understand and adopt is that many of them have a wide range of impacts on the crops. So you would get better root development and better fruit size and higher yield and better fruit color. And farmers sometimes are only looking for one specific thing. They need better color on the fruit if they want to send it to a specific export market. So the products might become refined in a way where they could also just target the specific factor, the one thing that the producer wants to address. And then advances in molecular biology, but also just in every other technology, artificial intelligence, and so on, will elucidate the mode of action of these products, and then support further product development. The better we understand them, the better we can fine-tune it to work in a specific way in specific environments. So my take-home message for today is that what you see when you work with biostimulants and what you get could often be two different things. Specifically in terms of the many years of research that of the background I have on biostimulants, the one very interesting thing is that visual differences between plants where the product was applied and plants where they weren't applied is not always apparent. So interestingly, sometimes a farmer would think if you could see the vegetative growth, for instance, of wheat looking more lush and green, that would translate into a higher crop, a higher yield. But it doesn't necessarily do, because the vegetative growth was supported in the wheat, which means that the reproductive growth, well, in this specific instance, was actually much lower than in the control. So that's the one thing I want to point out, is it's not always visually apparent, and that's where the scientific support is important, and also that the scientific data comes from a reliable source. And it's not just, excuse me, from just photographs without any underlying evidence. And that is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions with regards to biostimulants, if you're looking for information on crops or product types, timing of application, dosage, soil health, if there's any uncertainty in terms of the biostimulant product, where it comes from and its value, you're always welcome to contact me. I do respond on email very actively, so if you send me an email, you will definitely get a response. And then also you're welcome to follow me on LinkedIn, where I regularly post updates on the research we're doing at Stellenbosch University and just general outcomes of the biostimulant work that I do.